be live, hopefully. There's there's 2 live videos on YouTube right now. Okay, whatever. I don't care. As long as it's gonna be live at some point. Okay. It's to all 14 of you watching on Instagram right now, I'm so sorry. We're gonna get this rolling. I'm gonna also record on OBS so I can post this. Okay, cool. Cool, 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 cool. Okay, I just wanna learn all the business side of things. Alright, sweet. I got you, Brittany. One waiting. Okay. So it says we're waiting on YouTube. Okay, that says we're live on. Okay, we are live on YouTube. Cool. I'm gonna mute that. Okay, cool. So those of you guys on YouTube, I don't know if anybody's watching yet because we just went live, but I'll be able to see your all's chats. It says one watching, but I think that's me. So okay, cool. Public chat. Awesome. Okay. Okay, cool. IG. Let's talk about you guys now. So pressing when I'm worth, A being when it doesn't, process start to finish, honestly, not undercharging myself. Should be focusing on SEO and ads that live in a tourist destination city, how to find non-locals. Okay, cool. Love that. Sweet. Okay, cool, 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 cool. So here's what we're gonna do, guys, for the live stream. So if you didn't jump on last week, what we're doing is essentially live podcast episodes. Okay. So basically the way this is going to work, and I'm going to move my camera just a little bit more so it's right there so I can kind of like look at like you guys and YouTube at the same time. So what we're going to do essentially is I'm going to, whenever I record on OBS, you guys are going to hear me say like, what up, full-time wedding pro podcast, yada yada yada. So the purpose of this is I need to make podcast episodes for you guys, but I also love doing live streams, but I don't have time to do both, so we're doing them together. So I'm going to be talking on the podcast, and again, I'm talking to you guys live right now. But then also, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat as we're live. We're more live. We have more people on Instagram than YouTube, but YouTube, you guys, I see the chat here too, so I got you. But anyway, so if you guys have a question as we're going through things for the podcast, feel free to ask it. Ask anything you want. And then we're going to do a little general Q&A at the very end. This episode is probably going to be anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes if I had to guess. We're kind of, I love just going off rip and just kind of like giving you guys what I know instead of following a really kind of hard tiered structure. I have YouTube videos on my YouTube channel, Full Time Wedding Pro, if you guys want to see a little bit more of a structure. But this is going to be talking all about ads. So let's go ahead and record. And then we're going to do the podcast intro and we'll start. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Full Time Wedding Pro podcast, my friends. We are live right now on Instagram and YouTube recording this podcast episode. So if you're listening to the replay on Spotify or YouTube, understand and know that we do these live every week starting last week. So this is the second time we've been doing this. And it's gone pretty smooth with the exception of the last 10 minutes because I was having some technical difficulties. But if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify and you want to jump on these live and ask questions, because you're going to see I'm going to pull some questions from chat as we talk about things, then follow me on Instagram at Peyton Helm or subscribe on YouTube because I go live on Instagram and YouTube every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. So, what we're talking about today, how to make 200K a year booking weddings with ads. This is going to kind of be a full playbook, right? So last week I talked about how to book 30 weddings a year, and that was a little bit more focused on everything that we do. Okay, so it's like literally everything from branding and pricing to like organic strategy and paid strategy and social media and referrals and all that stuff. So that was a little bit more of a higher level how to book a lot of weddings per year. This is going to be more focused on ads, but what you might realize, and hopefully you realize, is that when it comes to booking a lot of money with ads, it's not just as simple as here's the button you click in the Meta Ads Manager, or here's how to make a good ad. That's about 5-10% of what the whole process is. So as we go through things today, um, those of you who are watching live, like I said, feel free to drop questions in the chat. Okay, and I will happily answer them. But we're going to talk about a lot because there's a lot to this topic, and a lot of people have a lot of different unique situations, right? So, I ran a poll on my Instagram earlier, and I was like, "Hey, what's your revenue goal with booking weddings?" And guys, I got answers from 40 to 50K, all the way up to like 1 and 2 million. But the average number that I saw from my very small sample size on that was about 200. It was 200, 250, or somewhere around there. And then I just asked my live stream viewers right before we started recording, and I was like, "Hey guys, like what's your income goal?" And I got 100, 150, 100K a year after taxes, 200. And another one that was just like, hey, I just want to like make enough to live. I totally get that. Because some people, we are in the wedding industry to build a really large studio brand and make several $1 million a year. I've got clients in full-time writing pro who do that. But for the majority of people, we just want to have fun shooting weddings that we enjoy, paying or getting paid what we feel like we should get paid for the work that we do and the person that we are and the clients that we work for. Um, and make a good income, make a good income doing it, right? Have a nice house, right? Drive probably a nice car, have some investments and savings, right? Whatever, right? So build a retirement, all that stuff. So for those of you, the cool part about ads is for those of you who do want to make several million a year, um, versus those of you who just want to make 40, 50, or 100K a year, ads will get you there, right? The thing that I love about Meta ads, and we'll talk about mostly Meta ads, but understand when I'm speaking about paid advertising, I'm talking about all platforms. So Meta, Google, TikTok, YouTube, I guess. I've never really dove into YouTube ads, but for the majority of the clients that I've worked with, which is now over 550 wedding photographers and videographers and full-time wedding pro, it has been pretty much just focused on Meta ads, so Facebook and Instagram. But we are diving into TikTok, and I'm very interested to see the results from TikTok. So anyway, what we're talking about here is the entire process, okay, from how to prep your brand and your sales process for ads to work really, really well for you, how to actually understand how ads work, right? The strategies that we focus in on ads, and then how to close these people who come from the ads and how to scale. Okay. So like all my podcast episodes, I'm not following a super linear path here. And I'm very ADHD, so you might see you'll hear me jumping around a little bit. But I'm going to try to make sure that we cover all possible situations because, like some of you guys in the Instagram chat said, you're trying to book maybe people who are non-local to you, and then sometimes you're trying to book people who are local to you. Sometimes you're trying to book weddings in a certain price point. So we're kind of just going to go over all of it, and we're going to dive in now that I've gave a little bit too long of an intro there. So let's pull up the chat and then we're going to get started. So for all of you who are watching, if you haven't already, I would love for you to put in your income goal for, we're halfway through this year. You do this year or next year, doesn't matter. What income do you want to hit per year? All right, let's start there. And then we'll start with all the different situations you guys might find yourselves in as far as where you're at in your wedding business. Okay. So, and we'll also rope this back to how ads work depending on where you're at. Okay. So let's start on the bottom tier. How do you know if ads are going to work really, really well for you? Okay. And this is again, assuming that you do the whole process right, right? If you knew without a shadow of a doubt, yeah, just from weddings, right? So if you knew without a shadow of a doubt that you would set up the ads correctly and you'd have winning ads, you could close these people, right? How do you know if ads will work for you or not? Big question I get, and I'm going to answer it now. Number one, let's talk about pricing. Okay. Actually, let's pull back a little bit. Let's go even a little bit more basic. Let's talk about portfolio and experience in your business. Okay, because some of you guys are in different stages there. What you need to understand is the entry level with ads is very, very, very low. But your branding and your portfolio, not as much your location, but location could play a part on the higher end. But your branding and your portfolio, aka the types of clients that you want to work with, can and will determine your success with any kind of marketing in general, including paid. Okay. So if you've only shot one or two weddings and you're kind of brand new, ads can work for you, but you're probably going to be wanting to offer a little bit more of a discount or like a free engagement thing, or like I'll work with your budget type deal if you want to book those weddings. If you're at that stage, you're a little bit below the qualifications that I really look for people inside Full Time Wedding Pro, but that doesn't mean ads won't work for you. Okay. The way that we specifically run ads is we don't want to do the discount and the giveaway strategy, right? Because we tried it before. I did it before. It was a little annoying. It works, but it's hard if you really want to get to 5K, 10K or more, per wedding. It's really hard to get there. It's not impossible, but the majority of the leads you're going to get through are going to be very low budget. They're going to be, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 max, 90% of them. And yeah, some educators will teach ads, especially agencies, because agencies, God, are awful. But you know, they'll be like, okay, we're gonna do an ad that's like, here, free engagement giveaway, and you know, book a lot. Like some very big names in the wedding industry do that strategy, and it works. You can get a 5K wedding from it. I've seen people get like 10K wedding from it, but you have to sort through and talk to like 100 different couples who are expecting you to only charge 1 or 2 grand, and it's kind of annoying. And the profit just isn't really there sometimes. So it's great though if you want to book under 3K. So that's kind of where I wanted to start on the lower end. Now, if you've shot, you know, if you've been shooting for a year or two, right? Or more, and you've got a pretty decent portfolio. You don't have to be the most talented photographer in the entire world. Okay. Doesn't matter. Because trust me, I've seen some photographers that aren't the most talented booking weddings at very high prices. I'm sure you guys have seen that too. So yeah. So anyway, you don't have to be the most talented, but if your brand and your portfolio is optimized for the type of client that is willing to pay whatever price you want to charge, 5K, 7K, 10K or more, then you can again very predictably go after those people with ads. So whenever people are like talking to me like, "Hey Peyton, you know, with your program, Full Time Wedding Pro, because we run ads obviously, like how do I like, you know, how do I know if I'm a good fit?" And the very bottom tier, I'm like, okay, at least try to charge like 3K or more, have a good portfolio, have been shooting for a couple years at least. And then um, you know, have an ideal client in mind that can afford a 5K plus budget, right? So that's what we work with. I'm reading the chat here too, which is why I'm kind of stuttering a little bit. So I want to stop giving discounts and giveaways because I've tried it. And the only thing that's giving me more experience. Yeah, I mean it's good for experience, but yeah, I'd like to stop. I'd like to not give away an engagement. Oh wow, I can't read right now. I'd like to not give an engagement session away. I started at 4,200. I spoke to a lady who said they wish they knew me for her wedding because they paid 8K and the photos were terrible. Yeah, 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 guys. Listen, I've seen some stuff, and we'll talk about pricing too because well, we're already on the topic, so let's just keep going. So, um, that's the bottom tier. Now there is also a topper, like an upper tier of ad success when it comes to how much you charge. Okay. So, and actually, I was talking to one of my clients recently, and I have clients in Full Time Wedding Pro who are booking 10K, 15K. I've had people book up to 20 and 30K weddings, but it's not common, right? It's not common at all. I actually had a client I was talking to who they were running ads and they booked a couple weddings at 10K. And I think one at 20. But then after that, it was like ghost town trying to book above 10K. And I've seen some clients have a lot of success at like 10K plus, and then I've seen some clients struggle with running ads for booking weddings at 10K plus. I it's hard to really diagnose what the issue is, but in my opinion, I think it's when you get over that 10K per wedding threshold, and I'm talking like 10K for local, one service only, you know, like I'm not talking about a multi-day destination wedding or like a um, you know, some other type of wedding where like that pricing is normal, right? Um, that's like when you get to the entry luxury phase, a lot of those clients are working exclusively with planners and they're only booking based on word of mouth. Okay. So that's where we start to see a little bit of a decline in effectiveness for ads is above the 10K range. It's not like a hard rule where it's like this won't work, but it's like it does get a little bit harder and your profit is a little bit lower. So that's the trade off. And I say that to say, like, a lot of people, I do want to make a video about pricing. So we'll make a podcast about pricing. David on YouTube said all my clients want the $1,500 packages. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we can talk about pricing. This might be a little bit of a pricing slash ads video because it's so relevant. But there's an ego when it comes to pricing that I've seen in the wedding industry. It's one of my biggest pet peeves about this industry, honestly. There's an ego, right? And there's the arrogant ego, and then there's the idealistic ego when it comes to charging more. Okay. So a lot of people just want to charge what they feel they're worth, and that's totally fine. A lot of people also really want to get to that 10K plus price point just to say they book weddings at 10K plus. And I'm here to tell you, it's not all it's cracked up to be. I have way more enjoyment booking my types of couples at 7K starting for photo local than I do starting at 10K because I did it and I didn't like it. It just wasn't the type of wedding I wanted to book. But also, I might clip this. Also, just because you're a photographer that charges 10,000 doesn't mean that you're better than everybody else. It is a huge pet peeve I see when I talk to photographers, when I see photographers who charge 20K, 30K, 40K, 50K, whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so amazing. I'm so better than everybody else." It doesn't matter, you know? Like it doesn't matter. I literally I'm more impressed by the studio brands that have nationwide associate teams that can book $4 and $5 million a year at 3 and 5K per wedding than I am by a photographer who books 20 and 30K 5 times a year. And that's just me. And I also say that because all of those people hate me for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm making success accessible for people and they just don't want to, and they can't run ads. So I don't know. But anyway, so that's rant aside. Let's see. I'm reading the chat. We'll be interested to hear your thoughts and experience on pricing Dead Zone. I want to start at 3,500 right now. I'm trying to get more weddings from my portfolio, so I'm not charging near as much. Gotcha. So let's talk about pricing real quick, and then we'll dive back into the ad side of things. But I do want to let you guys know this is relevant. Okay, I'm not just talking pricing randomly on an ads video. Pricing is very relevant to ads because, like Brittany said, or sorry, Ray said that there is a dead zone, right? And I see the dead zone every now and then. I had the dead zone in my own business, which was interesting. So where should we start? Let's start on where you should find your price. Okay. And this also ties into your goal for revenue. So let's talk about that. Let's say, here's my pricing model. I have two different pricing models that we talk about inside Full Time Wedding Pro when it's like, okay, what can I charge? There are nuances, but in general, how we try to figure out how much can I charge? How much do I need to charge? So let's do your income goal divided by your max capacity for weddings that you can serve in a single year. All right. So just for the purposes of the podcast, let's say it's 200,000. You want to make $200,000 gross. You know what? Let's bump it up. Let's do 250. 250,000 gross. So after taxes, you'll probably net 250,000 gross divided by me. I can do about 30 weddings a year before I want to die. So let's do 30 weddings a year. And that gives me an average of $8,300 per wedding. Okay. That's 250,000 divided by 30. That's $8,300 per wedding for me. So I know for my goal, that's what I want to get to if I want to be max booked out, 30 weddings a year. Now, some people can do more than that. I can do 30, 32. Right. So just adjust your goal, right? And let's say you only want to book 1,000 or 100,000, excuse me. So 100,000 divided by, Ray, I'll use you, 32, right? That's only $3,125 per wedding. Fairly easy. Okay. That's the easy part, right? Now, hard part. What you guys need to understand is your price does not equal your portfolio. I will say that again. Your price does not equal your portfolio. Your price equals what your clients, ideal clients, and potential clients can, number one, afford and perceive your worth. Okay? Let's say that again. The price you charge has to be within where your ideal clients can afford and also will perceive that you will land. So, for example, I charge 7. If my clients came to me and they couldn't afford 7,000, I'm going after the wrong client. Let's just assume pricing is a standard. Pricing is not going to move. It's fixed, right? I have to charge 7. Okay? What I need to do then is figure out how can I get the clients who can afford 7K and also perceive my brand as worth it. You guys following? Hopefully. So for me, I did external research. I said, okay, I want to charge 7,000 starting. For me, it was like 5 to 7. I was happy in that range. I was like, but for me, I charge 7 starting right now. Okay. So David, I promise I'll answer your question. So I want to charge 7. Okay. I also want to do elopements. So I look at the marketplace realistically and I say, okay, if I want to charge 7 for elopements, it's going to be very unlikely that I can only do 2-hour elopements here in the mountains because I live in East Tennessee, West North Carolina, these mountains. Okay. If you're doing a 2-hour elopement and you want to charge 7K, you're going to have a hard time finding those people unless your portfolio is just banging incredible. Right. So for me, it was okay. How can I increase the perceived value? On a tangible level, it was offering all day and multi-day elopements. And because I know for me that I kind of priced myself out a little bit of my immediate area, I started going after people outside my immediate area. So people traveling to East Tennessee and West North Carolina who also want to have an all-day elopement or a multi-day elopement. That allowed me to bring in those people. Now, I did that with only having 2 elopements in my portfolio and 1 styled shoot. So 3 elopements total, 1 was a styled shoot. And I'm booking a handful per year, spending next to nothing on ads for my own business, right? So David said, "So my portfolio looks cheap because my clients want a cheap price." If your portfolio looks cheap, you have to figure out why it looks cheap, okay? Why does your portfolio look cheap? Is it because your technical ability isn't there? Do you understand composition? Do you understand lighting? Do you understand how to edit? Or is it just the fact that the weddings you're shooting are cheap? Have you thought about that? Are you showing, for example, going back to, let's say I didn't want to do elopements, I wanted to do regular weddings, but I wanted to charge $7,000 starting for photo only in my local area. What I would have to do is not show super cheap DIY barn and church weddings in my portfolio. Duh. Okay. Because how do we sell? We sell our photos and our films for all you filmmakers here. We sell our portfolio by letting the client envision themselves in the portfolio. Oh, why did I stop? My OBS stopped. Okay, so I really hope that the Riverside quality is good because my OBS was not recording anymore. Oh well. Okay. Anyway, what I was saying is you want to show what your clients want to book. Okay. So, for example, if you do external market research, you do market research and you say, okay, all the couples who are booking $7,000 photographers are getting married at these types of venues, then okay, that's probably what I need to show. So, in essence, yeah, portfolio will reflect price a little bit, but also branding. Now, what is branding? Branding is visual elements and emotional elements in your words that you put out there, and also your work a little bit too, that speak to your ideal client. Okay. So outside of portfolio, it's the website you have, it's the way you present yourself on social media, it's the words you use in your captions in your website copy, right? That's if you can really niche down to those specific people and get super clear on what type of wedding do you want to book? Does it align with the price you want to make? And then how can I show that I'm shooting these weddings to these ideal clients? If you can solve those 3 things, then the ads will just it's just a paid way to get that in front of your ideal clients. Let's go over chat real quick. I don't like going after cheap clients because problems usually arise. They don't see your true value. Yeah, because if you're going after clients who just want line items for money, it's like I need 12 hours and I need raw footage and I need fucking whatever else for 1500. Yeah, like no matter how good your photos are, they're not going to care. They're just looking for the best deal. Style shoots go on all the time. You can get images that you want for elevate your brand exactly. What do you think about talking to these venue owners? Yeah, you can talk to venue owners for sure. Yeah, yeah. I don't know, Brittany. I don't know if you mean like to get referrals or if you just mean like doing research. Um, but you could do either, honestly. I David said I really think I have a great editing style and composition, but it's just the clients, I just get cheap people. Right. So if you find that you try to raise price, but you're just not getting in front of those people, right? It could be the portfolio you're showing is just not what they want to see based on the weddings. Okay. Now there's 2 ways around that. One, this is funny. You could have really, really good work in a bunch of landscape areas. So it's like no venues at all. But then also there's nothing necessarily differentiating you from cheap to expensive. So if you are shooting normal weddings and you're not shooting elopements like I am, and you want to elevate the brand vibes and the feel, then style shoots are fantastic. I made a reel today about using AI. It was bad. It was bad advice. It was purposely bad advice. So don't, if you guys see that, just understand I was joking. Talking to video owners to get referrals. Yeah, 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 referrals are great. Brittany, if you haven't watched my last video on how to book 30 weddings a year, I'd actually talk about referrals. Okay, so that's the branding side, okay, the pricing side, and the portfolio side. So to sum it all up, right? If you want to get to a certain client, you need to show what they want to see in your portfolio, show what they want to see in your branding on your Instagram, on your website, and in the words you use in your content. Okay. And then have a price that they can afford and that they perceive as valuable. Right. because and I just want to hit on that last point too. If they can afford 10K, but you come across as a $2,000 photographer, they're not going to book with you. That's why a lot of photographers, and probably a lot of you guys watching, have lost people to more expensive photographers and filmmakers. Trust me, that's heartbreak. You guys think it's hard to lose a client because you charge too much? Imagine the pain when they tell you that they hired somebody who's like, double your price. I've been through it. It's not fun. I love how you guys are chatting with each other in the chat. I love that. So, how do ads play into this? Right? Paid ads, whether you're doing them on Meta, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Google, whatever. Paid ads are just a paid way to get your content in front of your ideal clients. But you need to have the ideal clients first. That's why in Full Time Wedding Pro, we have an entire worksheet on, okay, who's our ideal client? What types of weddings do they want to have? What do they want out of their photographer or filmmaker? And then what are your core brand values? We have to have all that, okay, before you start running ads. Because if you don't, and you're just kind of, I'll book anybody, I'll do any wedding, whatever, as long as they can pay $5,000, it's not ideal, right? So, yeah, exactly. So, going back to that, you also have to have an optimized place where you're sending them to. So we'll talk about that next, and we'll talk about ad strategy. Because with ad strategies, we usually will send couples to one of three places. Four. Well, we'll call it three. One of three places. Okay. So when they actually click on your ad, where do they go? One of three places. Or you can do all three if you're feeling spicy. One is your website. Now, your website can be your website homepage or a landing page. Okay. Really simple. Now, for those of you who are trying to book like destination, or you live in a destination area, well, let me take that back. If you're trying to book destination weddings, then you would probably want to do it on a landing page for that specific location. AKA, if I want to book in Iceland, but my whole brand is based in Tennessee, I'm probably not going to send people to my homepage. I'm probably going to send people to my Iceland landing page. Pretty self-explanatory. Improviser, I see your comment, right? How do you target ideal clients if you don't target their interests? We'll talk about that. Don't worry, we'll talk about it. Is it okay to spend $1,000 monthly on ads? We'll also talk about that. Don't worry. So, destinations, right? If you are wanting to book, Ray, I was just about to say this. For those of you who live in destination cities, if you're wanting to book local to you, then sending people just to your regular website is fine. Now, yeah, your website has to be optimized. Okay. If you just have like, your portfolio on a website and then a contact page and nothing else, it's not going to be ideal. Okay. You're not going to stand out at all. And with ads, you want to stand out. Okay. You don't just want to have like a regular website with like your name and like where you're at and then a portfolio. Some people don't even have that. Guys, I've seen websites where people will not even have their location on the site. I'm like, what are you doing? What? So, anyway, okay. For example, what do you guys think would look better? A website where you go to it and you've got a really pretty header image and it's like blank, blank photography, Peyton Helm photography, located in Tennessee, portfolio, contact form, versus a website that's like, boom, Untamed Weddings Co. Here's a lot of my images. Here's where I serve. Here's who I serve. Here's my starting rate. Here's a little bit more about what I offer. I do all day coverage. I offer, sneak peeks in this time. Here's a lot of testimonials that I've got. Here's some blog posts and some educational material on all the locations you can elope in East Tennessee and West North Carolina. And then here's a thoughtfully detailed contact form so you can give me all the information you need for me to send you pricing before you even get on the call. What do you think is more attractive? Exactly. So if you live in a destination city, what you do, okay, so for example, I do, right? So for me, whenever I'm running ads to my website, on my website, I say, this is for couples who want to get married here. But I'm running ads to either the entire country or specific locations where I know my clients are most likely traveling from to my location. For example, I've got one of my clients, Diego, lives in Mexico, and he targets United States couples getting married in Mexico. His ads literally say, if you're getting married in Mexico, like, I will be your photographer. And then they go to his website and it's all about if you're getting married in Mexico. Boom, right? Super easy. So that's if you live in a destination area. If you just live in a local area, then it's even easier because you just target your local areas for ads and it's super easy. Your state, your cities, doesn't matter. It all works. Okay. We'll talk about targeting more, I promise. Targeting is so easy, right? So that's the first destination. Second destination is your Instagram or Jesus Christ, your Instagram page. Okay. I love, 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 love sending people to Instagram, especially now in 2026. The website strategy is still great, but it is a little bit more expensive. Instagram is easy because you can run follower ads or you can run DM ads, which is the third. Okay. So either your Instagram profile for them to follow you or your Instagram DMs to start a conversation. The goal here is to have the conversation with them over the DMs. Super simple. So they come to your DMs either way, whether you message them if they follow you or they come to you directly from an ad to your DMs. And, sometimes some people will say, "Oh, you should give them like this free guide or whatever." And we did that a couple years ago. It used to work well. Um, and so Ray, that's actually good. So Ray said, "I asked ChatGPT and Claude where do most people visit Myrtle from." Amazing. Yep. So it's one of the things that I tell my clients to do too is like if you don't know where, like what locations your couples travel to your area from, just ask AI. And if you don't trust it, just Google it yourself. So anyway, shoot, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. Instagram DMs. Okay, so your goal is really just to get as much from the Instagram DMs as you need to qualify as an inquiry, and then set them on a call. Super simple. So an example DM, somebody coming in and it's like, "Hey, what's your prices?" And it's like, "Dude, I would love to show you my prices." And usually they say that because they don't know what else to say, right? So it's like, "I'd love to show you my prices." First question, what's your date? Want to make sure I'm available. Oh yeah, I'm getting married October 16th, 2027. Sweet. Awesome, I'm available. Love it. Do you want photo, video, or both? Because I offer both. And they're like, "Oh, I would love both, but maybe just photo only. It just depends on budget." Oh, got it. Cool. What's your budget? Oh, my budget's 5,000. I'd like to stay under 5,000. Oh, cool. What how'd you come into that budget? Is it like a hard budget? You don't have to ask them that if you don't want to. Right? I'm just giving you guys examples. But let's say you don't even care about budget. You just like, okay, cool. Here's your date. Oh, sweet. Where are you getting married? What's your venue? Oh, we're getting married at the blah 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 in wherever. Sweet. Awesome. So we have two options. One, I can shoot you over my proposal right now, or we can jump on a really quick call, ask you a couple more questions. You can ask me some questions, and I'll give you a custom collection right there on the call. What do you think? Now, again, that's just a literally off the dome DM conversation. The actual DM conversations are way different every single time. Like every DM conversation is different. So like I'm just giving you an example of one. It probably won't follow that actual progression. So just be aware of that. Love Lorraine said we've been getting follows from our ads and DMing them once they follow. We close a few deals through the DMs. Exactly. One of my most successful clients, Kayla, she exclusively DM closes her clients for 15K plus weddings, and she's a filmmaker. Now, she does, wedding weekends, so she's not doing, like, a local video only for 15K plus, that's like a wedding weekend, so I think that would average out to maybe, like, 7K for, like, a one-day local, I think, something like that, so yeah, but no, I love that, right? So if you guys aren't right now, every time you get a follower on your Instagram that looks like they could be a potential client, message them. What should I message them? Literally just say, "Hey, do you want a wedding photographer? You followed me for a reason, or they followed you for a reason." Don't say that. you know, like you guys might think I'm joking here, but I'm not because my clients in Full Time Wedding Pro literally will do this. It's probably the best free sauce that I could give you guys. Honestly, is that. So consider yourselves lucky for listening. Some people don't do that. Like it blows my mind. Okay. So let's talk about sales process for a second. Are you guys clear on the locations you can send your people to from ads though? Just like, hit me with a yes in the chat real quick. Meta or Google ads. So David, both work. I have most of my experience with Meta. I've spent probably 400 grand on Meta over the last few years. Um, and that's my bread and butter. All 550 clients of mine mostly run on Meta. So Instagram and Facebook. And from there, most are Instagram. Get some guesses in the chat. Sweet. Cool. Now let's talk about ad strategy for a second. So there's two ways to run ads on Facebook and Instagram. You can boost or you can do the ads manager. So, and Trying to think about how I want to structure this. There's another strategy we'll talk about, but it's secret sauce full-time Winning Pro members only. I found you on Meta. Man, Ray, I would hope so because I blast money on Meta. So, what about transferring all this info into admin? So ignoring email and just DM them instead? Um, yeah, you can. It's all up to you, beloved. So we can actually chat about um we can chat about sales process after this. But I want to talk about ad strategy first, and we'll dive into sales process because it's going to be a really good conversation. So there's two ways to run ads on Meta. You can boost or you can run ads manager. Now, for most of you, I'd recommend ads manager. I will address something that I get questions about every now and then. I don't teach like ads manager setup, and the reason why is because all of these things we're talking about, I'm only really giving you guys like 20% of the actual material you really need to get good success from this. So if I made a YouTube video where I'm like, here's how to set up an ad, I would essentially be empowering you guys to spend money without 100% of the information you need. And 100% of the information you need can only be given to you by a full video training that's like pretty long and coaching calls because you will need personalized help. Ads are very personal. Okay. Every like 550 clients, right? Pretty much all of them have had some unique situation that I wouldn't have even thought about. Like that's why I don't literally just make YouTube videos where it's like here. And I don't say that just because I want you to pay me. Um because part of that too, like you can just go on YouTube and look up how to run ads on Ads Manager, and there's 1,000 YouTube videos that you show how to do it for free. But the problem is, if I did that, and you guys didn't have all the info that you needed because you didn't like you couldn't get on a call with me and you couldn't ask me questions, do all this stuff, right? And then you ran ads from my YouTube video and then you lost money, then you blame me. And I'm not in the business of being blamed for that. So that's why I don't do that. But we're gonna go back. And I will give you guys a lot of as much free sauce as I possibly can. So ad strategy. You can boost or you can run on ads manager. So with boosting, I only ever recommend boosting if you're running follower ads. Okay. Because follower ads are super easy, they're super cheap, and but they have their own downsides. Okay. So follower ads work best when you have organic content on your Instagram that has worked great in getting you ideal clients who have followed you and engaged with you and ideally bought from you, and then you could put money behind that boosted post. And the goal of it is just to send them to your Instagram profile. It's super easy. It's one of the more introductory strategies that we teach in Full Time Wedding Pro. There is a way to run follower ads in Ads Manager, but it's a whole lot more complex. It's good, it's really good, but it's more complex. It's not something I'm going to dive too much deep into now. But your best way to get your feet wet with ads is to literally just boost a post that worked great for you in the past. Okay. When you do that, though, don't send them to your website. Don't send them to DMs. Just send them to follow you and then message those followers. All right. Everybody who shits on boosting posts either don't boost the right ones and they spend 20 bucks and then it doesn't work and they're like, this doesn't work, or they do it wrong. They just completely do it wrong. Because I've seen time and time and time and time and time again people booking tens of thousands of dollars in my program by boosting posts that have worked with them great before. Now, if you don't have any posts that have done great before, then you need to create posts and then organically test them to see how well they do in getting traction from your ideal clients and then put money behind it. Or just invest in a program that can teach you how to run ads from the start in Ads Manager so you don't have to go through that whole process. That's one of the cons with boosting posts and follower ads is it's you can put money behind each post and make new posts to test, but it is a long process because you can only really like if you want to have the data be solid, you can only boost one post at a time. Like if you boost multiple posts and you're getting followers in, you don't know where the followers are coming from. You don't know if this ad is getting you high quality followers or if this ad is just getting you other photographers that follow you. You don't know. That's a problem with it. So the pros are it's cheap and it's accessible. The cons are it takes longer and you have to do more work in the DMs, which for most of you is not a big deal, right? But for those of you who are watching who want to book, several hundred thousand per year, 300, 500K, a million a year, you're probably not going to have time to be in the DMs or you're going to need to hire a DM setter. So that's the only downside. Okay, so that's boosting. So ads manager then. Okay, that's the other strategy, the other way that we run people. It's hella stressing, not gonna lie, but it works. Yeah, exactly, Dan. Exactly. So anyway, the other way to run ads is through the ads manager. Okay, and this Ads Manager, if you're doing Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, TikTok has an Ads Manager too. We are testing TikTok. Now, I'm not gonna like I said, I'm not gonna go through a whole setup on like, ads manager and all that stuff, but I'll give you guys the basics. Okay. So with the ads manager, the reason why you want to run it is because you have the Facebook pixel, the meta pixel. You put it on your website. Oh, look at there, Ray. Right. It does work. I made 7K off a $300 boosted newborn post, but never for weddings. 7K off newborns is impressive, Ray. Love it. It's cool. So boosting does work. There you go. So if you guys if you guys want to boost posts and then get some house money to invest in Full Time Wedding Pro to learn how to really scale, there you go. There are a handful of clients that I've worked with who did book out their entire year just by boosting posts, but it is more rare. And I say that because, yeah, you can have a post that has worked great and then put money behind it, but there's no guaranteeing that one post is going to do well the entire year or two that you run it. So that's the problem you might run into with boosting. So then we go to the ads manager. So the ads manager is where we really unlock scale, because with the ads manager, you have the ability to test infinite amount of ads at the same time. That's why it's superior. So, and obviously there's like a lot of different settings in Ads Manager, right? We usually stick to running lead or conversion campaigns. So they're the same thing, like lead campaigns, conversion campaigns. The terminology just might be different, right? And then we use the Meta Pixel to do our targeting for us. So for Improviser on YouTube, you said, how do you target ideal clients if you don't target their interests? We use the Meta Pixel. So the way that the pixel works is we put it on our thank you page when people inquire with us, or you can link it up with a calendar software. Some of my clients do that. So like they're tracking booked calls instead of just inquiries. And Meta will take that data from the IP address and a lot of other creepy stuff and link it back to that person's profile. And then it will use that data to show your ads to more people who are like that person. Okay. You guys following? So, what we can do on Ads Manager, where a lot of educators are coming in and they're saying, oh, you should target newly engaged. And guys, oh God, this blows my mind. The people still do this. They'll target newly engaged and whatever, right? They'll do all these targeting, all these interest groups, like, weddings and wedding dresses and international travel and, newly engaged 6 months and 3 months and engaged, blah, 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 right? And I'm not saying it doesn't work, because we have clients in the program who will split test interests versus broad. But you guys want to know the secret about it? I ran this test from December. The results are about 50-50. About half of my clients will say that the interest won, and about half of my clients say that broad won. And I only reintroduced this because of Meta Andromeda. Because one of my mentors said that they're split testing it and that I should too. And I was like, okay, let's do it. But for the last 2 years, outside of this isolated test we've been running for the last 6 months, for the last 2 years, we have been running broad targeting only, which means we're only targeting interests. Jesus Christ. That that was the worst Floridian slip ever. We were only targeting gender, age, and location. That's it. Nothing else. Unless we're doing retargeting, which I'll talk about my Omni strategy. All right. So that's it. And we're doing that whether we're sending people to our website, whether we're sending people to our Instagram to follow us, or whether we're sending people to our Instagram DMs to DM us. So then the question becomes, how do I make, or how do I target these couples if I don't have pixel data and I'm not using interests? That's the question. You do it through the ad. That is the magic sauce. Okay. The ad itself will do pretty much 100% of your targeting, especially before you have the pixel. And guys, listen, and I say this with caution because I'm spending about $200 a day on my campaign right now, right? And I was like, my ads are working great, by the way. I have a really cost per call for Full Time Wedding Pro. I've got a great cost per close. Okay. You guys see my face all the time. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to test more ads, right? I have a ton of data. I've got 5 years of pixel data from ideal clients of mine. I'm going to test more ads. Guess what? I tested more ads. They got majority spend in my campaign, and then they totally bombed and they didn't get any calls booked. And I was like, well, I'm going to turn those off now. So the ad itself is what's going to get you the most results. I might have missed something. What's pixel data? So Meta has this thing called the pixel. It's a piece of code and you put it on your website and you put it on specific pages to send that data back to Meta. So that way, when your ideal clients land on a thank you page after they inquire, or they buy from you and then they land on a purchase page, a post purchase page, you send that data back to Meta, and Meta's like, oh, cool. This person inquired. They must be an ideal client. We're going to use this to target other ideal clients. And same thing with purchases. Okay. That's one of the first things we teach in Full Time Wedding Pro is how to set that up. And we also have a dude who's awesome who can set it up for you. But anyway, but it's not hard. It's really, really easy. And if you want to just like, if you don't want to join Full Time Wedding Pro, whatever, just go on YouTube and learn how to set it up. It's super easy. Pixel data is basically information Facebook uses to tell that the person's taking action on your website. Exactly. And then it matches that data to all of their historical data they have on that person. And guys, the pixel data is so fucking creepy that I've seen it where you can optimize based off of the time of year your couples are getting married. It's wacky. Okay. The time, like the dates your couples are getting married, the venues your couples are getting married at, and exactly what they want from a photographer. The pixel is so much more advanced than any type of interest targeting you could even think of. So when I still see people making YouTube videos in the industry, or educators selling courses, and it's like use all these interests, it's bullshit. It's just bullshit. It does like guys. I am in mentorships with educators outside of the wedding industry who spend millions of dollars per month in meta ads. They're agency owners who manage tens of millions of dollars a month. And then people who are making over $1 million a month in their high ticket businesses, just like we have, all broad targeting. So if anybody's like, oh, you need to stack all these interests, it's just bullshit. It doesn't work anymore. You can test it and it might work better for you, but it probably won't. I mean, it's up to you really, right? The whole thing about interests is Meta just uses them now as suggestions. So like we literally just use one interest whenever we're split testing. And like I said, it's a 50-50 chance that it works better than broad. Usually broad will still win. And that's why I still only run broad. So that's my spiel. Now, a lot of you guys will be like, okay, I'm going to set up an ad in the ads manager and we're going to test it. What you also need to understand, like I mentioned earlier, is the ad itself has a very, very, very low chance of actually doing well. So we test. When we bring people into Full Time Wedding Pro, we give them this is secret sauce. I'm not going to release it, but we give them specific ad angles and then training and visual examples on what ads are performing really, really well at the current time. And then we say, use this data and use these frameworks to create anywhere from 10 to 35 ads per campaign. So when I say we test, we really fucking test. Right? Now, like I said, that's secret sauce. I'm not going to reveal too much. You had to pay me for that. Sorry. I got to keep some of this stuff. I'm giving you guys way too much free sauce anyway. Right? Because if you guys do listen to me, like, and you don't want to join Full Time Wedding Pro, because I get it's an investment. If you don't do that and you would rather just listen to me and then like go on YouTube and run ads for yourself, I want to still give you guys enough information where you guys can do that properly. Okay. So ad spend budget. That was the next portion. And David, I wanted to answer your question. Is it okay to spend $1,000 a month on ads? If you're running any of the strategies that I talk about, whether it's, sending people to the website or a landing page or your Instagram or whatever, your baseline profit, if you're doing everything correctly, should be 10x. Okay. I have clients who do way more than that. But our baseline, once we're out of the testing phase, because you're going to spend a little bit of money testing and trying to figure out, okay, what's going to work, what's not, your baseline profit should be 10x. So, David, you said, should I spend $1,000 a month on ads? If everything you've nailed down is good, you've got a winning ad, it's getting you inquiries, it's getting you bookings, and you want to spend $1,000, or if you spend $1,000, you should make 10,000. So for that question is like, hey, how much should I spend on ads? Take your ideal monthly booking revenue and then divide that by 10. That's how much you should spend on ads. Once you're out of the testing phase and you know you've got ads that are working, don't go full in. Was that $30 a day? Don't go full in $30 a day, right? Take it low and slow. Maybe some people you want to start at $10 a day or 20. Some people in my program do start at 30 a day, and that's fine. It's really up to you guys. Okay. So I like to go slow because when you start and you're testing a lot of different ads, you don't know what's going to work. So just try whatever, right? 10, $20 a day, doesn't matter. So that's the majority of the strategies that we teach. Now, a lot of people are like, you hear retargeting. You're like, oh, I should retarget. I should retarget. Should I retarget? When you run ads in the ads manager, they will automatically retarget for you. Okay. And if any of you guys are running ads right now, that's that little frequency tab that you look at. If you're not running ads, you don't do the ads manager, then ignore that. Okay. David said that makes sense. I started today with 30. There you go. Good luck, David. I hope it works out for you. Right? So, retargeting. Your campaigns will retarget for you, but we do have what I call an omni retargeting strategy. I don't know how much I want to get into this because it's real secret sauce. The goal with omni is you launch it when you are already running ads and they're working great. So I'm not going to like do too much about it because most of you guys probably aren't. If you're in my program and you are running ads, you should be running omni as long as your ads are working. Okay. I don't really want to dive into too much of it, but just know we do have a retargeting strategy, but it's very like, I'm not going to release a lot of it because it is so good that I just don't even want to get it out there because yeah, it's also too, if you do it wrong, it's a really good way to blow a lot of money. Should it be a mix of engagement, black and white portraits and bridals? It's a good question, Ray. And a lot of people ask me like, "Hey, what should be a good ad?" My general advice here is anything goes. But I will take a page from Hormozi. The best ads look like organic content. Okay? The best ads look like organic content. In fact, one of my winning ads right now is literally a clip of a coaching call that I did. It wasn't even specifically made for an ad. Dane said, how much do you think is good for Omni? Dane, if you haven't, watch the video on Omni in the course. But it should be about 10 to 20% of your overall budget. Hopefully that helps. But watch the video if you haven't already. And I explain the whole process there. Ray said, so hero images. Yes, hero images can work, but also images of you guys, right? Venues, locations, videos, behind the scenes, all of that stuff works. Dane said, let me go peep. Sweet. Yeah, like I said, if you guys are in the program and you're running ads and they're working, definitely run Omni. Because if you run Omni, you will see a lower cost per inquiry. You'll see a better show up rate on calls, and you'll have couples booking on calls more if you do it right. That's why I love Omni. So great. If you guys ever get blasted by my testimonials, that's all my Omni strategy. So anyway, I don't want to talk too much about it because it's like just me hyping up the program, and I don't want to do that for you guys. So let's talk about sales process. I'm actually curious. Put it in the chat. When somebody inquires, what's your sales process look like? Let me get a drink. What do you do? Do you send them pricing? Do you get them on a call? What happens? How do you close them? Also, I got to charge my phone. Oh, I don't know how to actually do this on this stand here. Well, let's see. We got 20% left. We got 20% left. So yeah, we'll probably wrap it in about 10 minutes. So that's fine. I think I just kicked you all out on Instagram. I'm so sorry. So sorry if I just kicked you guys out on Instagram. Zola. Okay. So let's break down the normal sales process I usually see. Okay. So a lot of times when you get an inquiry, there you go, Dane. So let's see. They send a DM, I get them on a sales call, try to close on the call. Ask date, venue, ask for their budget range, hop on a call. Cool. So you guys are doing calls. What I see a lot is that photographers and filmmakers, and I've seen people complain about this, by the way. I've seen couples complain about this. They will fill out an inquiry form and they're like super freaking excited. They're like, yes, like I would love to talk to this photographer. This looks amazing. Oh my God, blah, 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 right? They fill out a contact form and they never hear back. They don't hear back for a day or 2 days or 3 days. I've seen people post that they went 7 to 14 days without getting a response. Oh, Aiden's in the chat. What up? One of my competitors. Aiden's creeping. He's funnel hacking. So anyway, I'm just playing. I love Aiden. So I won't book without a call or in-person meeting. Sweet. Love it. So they will fill out contact forms and then they won't get a response for like a day or two. Guys, at the bare minimum, when you get an inquiry, you should try your hardest, as long as you're awake, to send an immediate response. In fact, what my client, this dude has become the master. I love it. I love Aiden. Aiden has a really good combination strategy from referrals and ads. I taught him ads. I will say that, but he has a really good strategy for referrals and ads. So I just want to shout Aiden out. I love Aiden. So anyway, so yeah, I respond same day, if not within the hour. Perfect. So that's bare minimum. Bare minimum. You should respond to an inquiry within like the hour. Ideally, like if you can do it within 5 and 10 minutes, you're golden. Now, obviously, you're going to be asleep at some point during the day or the night, the day if you're a psycho. I'm just playing. Paying the ads go. Thank you, Aiden. Appreciate it. You're gonna be asleep. You're gonna be editing. You're gonna be shooting. Okay, so you can't always do that. So how do you capitalize on momentum without having to respond immediately? Well, what some of my clients do is they will do inquiry to immediately book a call and then they will respond. So when couples come to your website and they fill out the inquiry form, they boom, boom, boom. Here's my date. Here's my venue. Here's my what I want. Here's my budget, whatever. And then they immediately get redirected to a calendar page to book a call. Ah, blows your mind, right? But we have seen a huge increase in inquiry to call booking percentages by doing this, right? And then when you book a call, you text and email them. Now, my usual questions when I get this are like, "Well, Peyton, what if I'm already booked on their date? Or what if they're like a weird inquiry? Or what if they're secretly a serial killer?" Just cancel the call, y'all. It's not a big deal. Just cancel the call. I promise. It's not that deep. Just cancel the call. Just be like, "Hey, I'm already booked on your date. I'm just going to go ahead and cancel our call. No worries." Free sauce. Let's see. Loverain said, "Inquire form auto email gets sent immediately with a thank you message and a link to our calendar. We respond within the hour if we can. Link to pricing guide and calendar schedule call. We also send a text message." Nice. Yeah, that works great. We did start seeing some increases we did start seeing an increase in ghosting rates this year. There you go, Ray. Yeah, send an associate. We did start seeing an increase in ghosting rates this year with the inquiry, send a text and an email, and then get on a call. So that's why we switched and I started saying, you guys are cracking me up. What is Peyton? I'm Peyton. Y'all are funny. Oh, that just got me off topic. Okay. Oh fuck, what was I saying? We started seeing an increase in ghosting rate with the inquire to text message to then schedule a call. So in the program, I started saying, "Hey guys, let's fix our sales process." I call it the omni sales process. I'm not going to get into everything in it because it is way too much sauce to give out for free. It's not just the inquiry, book a call, and then text them. There's more to it on the back end to make sure they show up. Again, I'm not going to dive into it on the podcast because it's way too much sauce. You got to pay me for it. But if you guys literally just inquiry form, reset or redirect to a calendar form to have them book the call, and then text and email them, and you can send pricing or whatever. Do that. And like Ray said, if you're booked on their date, you can either cancel it or you can send an associate. Just the whole associate thing has its own pros and cons. In fact, actually, oh, would you guys be down if I got a couple people or like one person who books associate teams, like who makes a lot of money doing that on the podcast? That'd be cool. In fact, you know what? Whoever you guys want on the podcast, drop it in the chat. I'm just curious on who you want on this podcast because I want to interview people. There's only so much I can say without repeating myself 1,000 times, especially in this video because this video is like everything. Okay, so anyway, thank you, Taylor. So yeah, good info. Yeah, yeah. So literally just going from like inquiry form to book a call. Great. Now, a lot of questions I get too is like, hey, why can't I just do like a calendar form on my website or a calendar on my website? The problem with that is you will get more inquiries if you do the inquiry form, and sometimes you won't have a calendar spot open where they can book a call. So if you do the inquiry form, you'll get more inquiries that you then can manually send the calendar form. Aiden, you're distracting me. Aiden's in the chat saying, "Have Elon Musk, Ty Lopez." I would. I'm not going to comment. Okay. I have 3 associates who work under me. I'd like to expand. I love it. Associates, dude. Like, listen. When I was a couple years ago, I was like, or really, I think just last year, I was like, "Ooh, should I like book a lot of weddings with associates and you know make like 500K or a mil from untamed weddings?" I'm still considering it. I really am. Like, I really am still considering it. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of headache. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I would love to have somebody who books a lot with associates on the podcast. And I've got a lot of people in my program who make a lot of money who do it. So I would yeah, I'll reach out to them, see if I can get them on. One time I was doing a live stream in my program. You guys know Jared and Jason from Wedding Film School. I was on a mastermind call in my program, and I like panic texted Jason. I was like, "Hey, drop everything you're doing and get on this call right now." And he was like, "Okay," and he did it. I was like, "What?" It's crazy. He's awesome. I love them. So anyway, does Caitlin James send associates? I don't know. I have no clue. But anybody you guys like want to see on the podcast, you know what? Actually, I'll make a story post. Um, oh no, yeah, Aiden, you panic texted Jason. You're right, and I messaged him on Instagram or Facebook, but he responded to you. I think I don't remember. It was like a couple years ago, or it was a year ago, or I was still living in Florida. So it's 2024. I booked about 20 associate weddings last year from actually my main band. Oh, you want to come on the podcast? You know what? It would actually be really cool if I could get like several people and they could all talk about it. That'd be cool. But then I don't know, that might be too much sauce. I might have to leave that for the program. No, I already did that. It's funny enough. That's who I'd like to hear. Okay, Caitlin James. Let me message her and I'll be like, I have one person who wants to hear from you on the podcast. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing. I want to get more people on here. Okay, so anyway, so I'm wasting time now. Let's go back to the topic at hand. That was pretty much everything that I wanted to cover as far as like running ads to book 200K in weddings. It's just a math problem. Okay, to sum it all up, it's just a math problem. There's nothing stopping you as long as you can handle the amount of weddings that would give you 200K in a year. It's just a math problem. That's why I love ads because with if you're doing referrals, if you're doing social media, if you're like ranking on Google, you can't control your lead flow. But if you're running ads and you want to book 200K and you know that every month you're churning about a 10 to 15% profit, or excuse me, a 10 to 15x profit, you're spending 1,000, you're making 10 or 15 per month, then you're like, okay, if I want to book more, if I want to hit 20K a month, then I just need to spend more. And relatively speaking, that's it. Now, yeah, you will have to test more ads and do different things, right? It's not that simple, but it's a whole lot more controllable than just posting on Instagram or trying to, get in the pants of planners and venues and stuff, you know? So anyway, that's why I love ads. Soft call to action. If you guys want to work with me in Full Time Wedding Pro, go to fulltimeweddingpro.com or go to my Instagram and just DM me and we'll jump on a call and I will send you my pricing for the program and the full program breakdown and what it looks like. Okay. Full Time Wedding Pro is essentially the entire A to Z playbook on how to run ads and book weddings at any price point you want within reason. I'm not teaching people how to book $100,000 per wedding. You know, you know, never done that. So, but anyway, if you want to learn from me directly, book a call with me. Go to fulltimeweddingpro.com, or if you're on Instagram, go to my link in bio. There's literally it says join Full Time Wedding Pro. You can book a call, free call. Jump on. We can talk about your situation. I'll show you pricing before the call, and we can work together. Um, that's the whole pitch, right? Also, too, I'm about to wrap up the podcast. So if you're watching the recording and you want to jump on these live, follow me on Instagram and subscribe to me on YouTube. Okay, Full Time Wedding Pro on YouTube and Peyton Helm on Instagram. And I go live every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern, to do these podcast episodes. But anyway, if you're watching the recording, love your face, and I'll see you later. All right, adios. Okay, I'm gonna have to find a way to, I guess, edit the end, because what I was doing was stopping the live stream on YouTube, or I was stopping the OBS recording, but I think I hit my storage limit on my MacBook. So now I'm just gonna have to edit it on YouTube so we're still live. So if you guys have questions, any questions at all, ask me. It can be about ads or anything. I'm here for the next 15 minutes and we'll answer any question you have. Ray said, peace. If you guys want to leave, feel free to leave. Don't matter to me. I book also about 15 associate weddings this year, but they're cheap. People paying 2K maximum. I got you. Who's a good candidate for your program? Do you ever turn anyone down and why? The only time I ever turn anyone down is if they are like a beginner or they're charging less than 2K, or if they're charging like more than 10K. Um, and like they're only working with couples who work exclusively with full service planners. Because in that example on the higher end, um, you can't really show those, like you can show those people an ad, but it's ultimately like the planner is the one booking if you're at like the really upper echelons. So ads don't really work as well. But if you're anywhere from like the 3K to the 10K range for, starting for a local service, one service only, you're fine. Just photo, just video. Because you could start at like 7K like I do for photo and then do like 14K for photo video and still book great with ads. So that's usually like if you're above 10 to 15K for one service only local, it becomes a little harder to book with ads. So that's the only thing. But that's and I only really ever turn anyone else down if they're like a weirdo, um, or if they're just like rude, or if I can tell they don't have a good work ethic. Because with ads, it's very emotional. Like you'll have days where you're spending, 30, $40 a day and you don't get any inquiries for 3 or 4 days straight. And then you'll have a day where you get like three or four. So ads are inconsistent on a micro time frame, but on a macro, they're great. Do you offer monthly payment plans? Yeah, Ray, I do. I have a lot of payment plan options for Full Time Wedding Pro, like a lot, both third party and internal. So if you're interested, just like shoot me a DM. I don't like to go over pricing on live streams like this, just because like if the replay is out and then I give pricing and the pricing changes, people are going to be like, oh, I thought it was this much, and then it's like not a fun experience for me. So that's why I don't like do public pricing. But if you book a call with me, I'll send you the pricing. And then if it's like too expensive or not a good fit or whatever, I'll just cancel the call. It's no big deal. That's so helpful. I'm rebranding to weddings and ranging 4 to 6K now, but moved to Dallas, Arizona. My market's all over the place, but I like to scale more. Yeah, yeah. So the moving situation I find a lot. And it's a little bit tough because like when you move, either your portfolio is going to support the new area or it's not. And it kind of sucks if it doesn't. Like I talk about one of my clients all the time where she moved from Colorado to Miami and her portfolio did not work well in Miami. So she had to do a style shoot in Miami and then she started running ads and she just fucking crushed after that. But if your portfolio, I mean, Dallas to Arizona, I mean, unless you're going from like, Dallas city venues to shooting in like Sedona elopements, like you probably would be fine. How long is your program? It's as long as you want. So some people can go through it and they'll get ads up within a couple weeks, and then some people will some people will join the program and then not run ads for like a year. It's all up to you really. But yeah, the length of time as far as like support will just depend on what level of the program you jump in. So if you're interested, just book a call. But it's not a cheap program. Like if you have like no budget at all for education, don't book a call because it's not a cheap program. We offer payment plans. But if you're like looking for a $27 or $97 course, that is not Full Time Wedding Pro. Because like I could sell that, but also I would not be able to give you the amount of support that you really need because like I would just have way too many clients. So I have to charge a lot more than that to, you know, not want to pull my hair out every day because I have 10,000 clients asking me for, questions. I host my own style shoots too. Oh, well, you're good. Yeah, you can just host your own style shoot. There you go. I bring it to the California market too. California is a cool market. California is a competitive market, but what I really love about the California market as far as photographers go is like it's competitive in a good way because the competitiveness really pushes people to be their most artistic and creative selves. So like if you like California, it's obviously huge too. So like it is competitive, but also there's a lot of couples there. So it's they go hand in hand. But like, dude, some of the best photographers I've ever seen in the wedding industry come out of California. Just because like, the you could blame competitiveness, but also like the amount of talent there is just so high. So love it. Would you say setting up the ads pixels like 20% of the work? How you respond to inquiries the other percent? So like I would say that like the ad setup, like the actual ads manager work, like the campaign structure, the targeting, the pixel is probably like 5% of everything. And then like the ad itself and your branding and your pricing and your offer and your sales process and the way you respond to inquiries and your follow up, that's the other 95%. And a lot of people come to me and they're like, "Hey, I just want to learn ads." I'm like, "Okay, go on YouTube." You know, if you want to just learn how to run ads, go on YouTube. But if you want to learn how to run ads and then actually close the people who come to you from ads and actually optimize your brand to get a really good cost per inquiry that's not $500 per inquiry, then I'll work with you. Improviser, by the way, I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying I get that a lot and it's annoying. But I get it, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. So yeah. How often do you recommend posting on socials? Okay, so I have a very controversial opinion about this. I think you should post as much as you possibly can, but it also depends on how bad you need bookings. Okay. For example, for me with Untamed Weddings, I can throw up an ad, spend a few $100s, and book as many weddings as I want. And I don't have to post anything on Instagram ever. I've literally not posted on my Instagram in like a year for Untamed Weddings because when I need weddings, I just throw up an ad and it works. But if I said this in the last video, if I was trying to make 250 grand a year and I needed to book 30 to 40 weddings a year and they couldn't all come from ads, then I would literally post on social media every single day, probably multiple times a day if I had time, because why would you not? You know? Like why would you not? If if you knew 100% that posting more on social media would get you more clients and you need those clients to survive, then yeah, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to get more clients. That's just me. Some people don't want to do that, and that's fine. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Some people would just rather throw up an ad and or a couple and just, only book a handful of weddings a year, 20, 30 weddings a year, or just rely on referrals and deal with that. And that's fine. Like if you just want to rely on one marketing channel, totally cool. Totally cool. Just accept the cons that can come with it. You know, like with ads, ads aren't perfect. You will have an ad that will run for 6 to 12 months and work great. And then all of a sudden it'll stop working, and you'll have to test more. And in that downtime where you're testing more, it's nice to have other sources of inquiries coming in. It's also nice too to have other organic sources of inquiries coming in so that way you're not having to always spend 10% of what you make for an inquiry. When would you recommend joining? Debating joining in the winter, which is my down season, so I'd fully focus on the program. I get this a lot. And, I'm very biased in saying you should join now, but the problem with it is the whole like I need to focus on the program. It's a lot less work than you probably would think. And you also have to take into account the opportunity cost. Like, Jordy, I don't know like what your goal is, but let's just say you want to book 200K in weddings a year. If you wait from now until winter and you're not booking $20,000 a month, you're spending it. Like, think about that. That is $100,000 you could make faster if you started running ads now versus in December, is that worth spending 1 or 2 hours a week to learn and launch ads? I think so. But some people don't have as much urgency, and that's okay. Like, if you're already fully booked, then it doesn't matter. But if you're like, "Oh, I only have 2 bookings next year," and like or 5 bookings next year, and I need to hit 30, should I wait till December? Hell no. Like, do something now, you know? So, Jordy, I don't know what your situation is. If you really do need the bookings, or if you just need to book a couple more. So everybody's different, So like I would need to know your full situation and, give you advice, personal advice there. One of my best friends, Madison, worked with you and has that. Oh yeah, Madison is a badass. Freaking love Madison. She came in. Listen, Madison came in. I think jumped on like one call, and they did like 50K in bookings her first week, and I was like, "What? That is not typical." Like, please do not expect that. That is the norm. That is not typical. Madison the badass. I'm rebranding my website. Should I wait till my website's done? No. So this is basically just a sales call now, but that's fine. So the reason why I say no is because I have a website structured checklist that if you want to run ads to your website, you need to have the checklist so you know all of the elements that you should put on your website for ads to convert the best. So what a lot of my potential clients will do is they'll give that checklist to their brand designer, and then the brand designer will make sure all those elements are checked. So that's usually why I say. Also, too, if like your website's not going to be ready for 2 or 3 months, just run ads to Instagram. Ways around it. She's amazing. I've loved her and learned so much from her. Yeah, yeah. Oh, awesome, awesome. Yeah, Madison's amazing. She's awesome. She's so sweet too. I'm out of water. Good to know. I'll be booking a call. I've been waiting because of my website. Yeah, yeah. Don't wait. Okay, that's good. That's good advice. I need to make a reel that says "Don't wait for your website to be done." I also need to make a reel that says "Don't let don't let your backlog stop you from booking more weddings." Nate said that. Nathan Chansky said that one time, and I was like, "Oh, that's the best thing I've ever heard in my life." Yeah, it's so funny. Nate and I have done 3 podcasts, and I literally wanna do another one. Like, I love him so much. When does the course expire? I paid thousands for a course, got pregnant, got sick, had a baby. What? That's dumbass. Or that's dumb as hell. No, so the course doesn't expire. Um, yeah, it doesn't expire. So, like, if you join, you're better. I'm sad to not be meeting you in Italy. Ah, I know. I know. I was supposed to be modeling, and speaking at a workshop in Italy, but my wife is a first responder. She couldn't get off work. So, yeah, I wasn't able to go. I'm sorry. I have a long backlog too that stops me often. But look at me. Yeah. Yeah, you guys should tag Aftershoot and we should do a collab and we could talk about how to make your backlog not as freaking stressful, you know? Because backlogs killed me. Actually, I have a wedding video right now that's on the pipeline to deliver. So yeah, I get it. Backlogs are annoying. But there are ways to be more productive with time and optimize your delivery process. So I think if you guys want to do a podcast episode on that, that'd be cool. That'd be real cool. Well, any other questions y'all got? I got 5 minutes left. We still got a lot of you guys watching, which is cool. If you guys like this, like let me know and we'll keep doing this. This whole like live podcast thing was kind of just a test, but I think it's cool. I think it's working well. Seems like you guys are enjoying it. And I love going live. I don't know, I just always have. I like guys, I cannot tell you how freaking annoying it was for me to sit down and script a YouTube video. That's why I never did it. But literally, I just opened up the camera today and I was like, all right, let's just talk. And it just worked great. Yes to Aftershoot. Yeah. Yeah. I should message them and be like, hey, let's do a collab. I love Aftershoot. Man, I loved Aftershoot. Like all of my work for the last 2 years pretty much has been through Aftershoot. So yeah, I love it. It's a great software. Backlog wouldn't matter much if the course doesn't expire. Yeah, the course doesn't expire. Like no matter what level of the program you join, you get lifetime access to the course. And like we have 2 levels of the pro. We'll just do a pitch. So we've got 2 levels of full-time wedding pro. You've got the group coaching aspect and you've got the one-on-one aspect. Okay. So in both levels, you get access to the course material It's not just a course. So it's a course community on Slack. So in the community, we've got a support channel, we've got creative feedback channel, and then we have a wins channel and we have a referrals channel. So people in the referrals channel will, when they get inquiries already booked on, they'll post those inquiries in the referrals channel. If they need a second shooter, they'll post it in the referrals channel. If they need an associate shooter, they'll post it in the referrals channel. So a decent amount of my clients will book, a couple extra weddings a year just from the referrals channel alone. So if I made that expire, that'd be worthless basically. So the course in the community, you get lifetime access to. You also get lifetime access to my PeytonBot AI. The PeytonBot AI is an AI clone of me. It's a coach basically that you can call and text for free. And I'm working on a downloadable PeytonBot AI that you can use with your own ChatGPT or Claude, and it will literally take all of my knowledge and give you copywriting. You can link it to your Meta Ads account. It'll give you ad advice, which is really cool with Claude specifically. Only Claude. ChatGPT won't do that. Um, and fuck, I forgot. Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, it'll look at your data. You can upload documents to it. You can upload sales calls to it. It's really cool. It's really really cool. I'm working on that right now. But anyway, so that doesn't expire. So you get all that lifetime access to the course, the Payton bot, the community, all that stuff. And then there's two levels of support. You could do group coaching calls. Those are twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. There's about 5-ish people on each call, and they're 90 minutes long. So that is a way to get, and they're on Zoom. So they're like, you unmute, you show your screen. I can control your screen. We go through everything together. Like whatever issue you're dealing with, I got you. Even if you just want me to like help you set up ads or look at your management or like whatever, yeah, I got you. Right. So we'll also do like one-off calls every now and then. We'll do like sales call reviews and stuff like that. Um, then there's also a one-on-one aspect or a one-on-one level. And the one-on-one level is where you'll get one-on-one calls with me through Zoom and one-on-one mentorship through text on Slack, as well as the group coaching. Those two things do expire, but what some clients do, like for your example, if you were to get pregnant again and you joined, then you would just let me know and I would say, hey, cool, let's just postpone your one-on-ones till you're available. But that way you still have the course, you've got the community, you've got everything. So that doesn't expire. Watched your when would you watched your 3-hour podcast on this program and loved it. Please come back. I would come back. I just don't know what else I should say. That was a 3-hour workshop. Oh, if you guys are in Nathan's business blueprint, um, please watch that recording if you didn't watch the workshop. It was good. It was a 3-hour Q&A on ads. It was, oh man. I went to bed after that, man. I was tired. That was a good one. Cool. Well, guys, any final questions? And again, if you want to book a call for Full Time Wedding Pro, go to fulltimeweddingpro.com. You can click the little join button, book a call, and we'll do it. It's not a cheap program. Please do not book a call if you can't afford to run ads and afford, you know, education. But we do have payment plans. So, I'm not going to ask you to spend 10K up front. Like, don't worry, but we have pay plans. So yeah, but just understand it's not 10K, but I'm just saying. I'll be booking a call. Thank you. I will see you on my calendar. Photographs by KB. KP. I need to know your real name. It's okay. I'm sure I'll see it come through. All right, guys. Any final questions? If not, I have a call at 4, so I will be eating food. No, I need to get a protein shake because I worked out today. Karishma? That's a cool name. It's cooler than my name. I will look for your call, Karishma. Thank you. No problem, guys. No, I love these videos or I love these podcast episodes. So I will upload the recording probably tomorrow or tonight, and it'll be on YouTube. So yeah, I'll see y'all. Let's go ahead and shut down YouTube. Adios, YouTube.